It has been 10 years since I started playing guitar professionally on stage, and I played in every kind of situation and band, from local fairs, theaters, and even live on television. Music from Italian traditional folk to top 50 mainstream media shit, okay? But at the end of the day, I found that between me and other fellow musicians, these are the 5 essential guitar tones for gigging musicians. Gear for today's video, Hondo H76. This is a fake Japanese Strat from the late 70s, early 80s. It has all the sound of a Strat, okay, but with the balls of a Les Paul, I like to say. Airbrush FX unit for all the sound, and I'm gonna use the same Marshall Plexi emulation for all the tone of this video. And I'm gonna say exactly how at the end of the video, because there's an interesting twist, okay? If you play funk, pop, rock, even metal for a living, and if you play metal for a living, please hire me, you need a clean sound. For rhythm, arpeggiated or strum part, or even leads sometimes, if you think about the blues. I'm not a blues player by any chance, by the way, and I think you can hear it. Okay, you could just plug into the first channel of an amp, which is typically the most cleanish, almost DI sounding at time, but what I suggest you to do is to dirt up the sound a little with saturation. And here's how. You can start from a gainish sound like this, for me, it's a clean, but for most players, this is already a distorted crunch sound, okay? And slowly turning down the volume on the guitar until it is clean. Or you can just play as dynamically as you can. And by doing it, you don't have to change patches, switching channel, and blah blah blah. You have everything at your fingertips. And coming from a gain stage, your clean sound will have more harmonic content. That will add more dimension and presence to your sound. That will translate with blending well with the band, but at the same time, careful to the mix. I think this is the sound that comes to mind when we all think about pop music. Clean, like the previous one, with chorus and delay. There's magic inside of that sound, because you can really fill up a whole stadium with just one chord. Think about it. Originally, I don't think it was a chorus pedal, I think it was a univibe, but if you are on a budget, buy a chorus that will cover up, honestly, 90% of the modulated guitar sound that you will ever need, okay? Or think about anything from Andy Summers or Police. Try to to make two different patches if you can. One with an analog style delay, like this. And one with a digital longer one. And with this type of sound you can even emulate some pads if you like. I mean, this is the sound of rock, and even the riff, okay?
It's facts! It's facts! Is it not facts? These sites, is it not facts?
Every record, I think, at some point has a cranked up Marshall on 11 inside of the track. And it is the most visceral, powerful, directly connected with Mother Nature sound that I can think of. And of course, if you play the classic, it is mandatory to have it, okay? Because it really works with every song. Listen. I don't know why I played Green Day, but it works, as you can hear. In modern music, if you think about it, there's almost no guitar, but trust me, this sound during a chorus with power chords is the shit. Get fancy, use this sound with chorus and delay. It will replicate that feeling of a massive wall of sound that modern production has. And if you want to do the job even better, play with no dynamic and no expression like in modern music. FUZZ changed music. In 1962, Maestro released the FUZZ Tone, which is the first ever guitar pedal produced that really changed music. The sound of satisfaction, okay? And funny enough, originally it was marketed as a way to make you sound like horns and violins. Listen to this clip from the original demo.
Now we'll use the electric bass again for this, a tuba sound.
Or like a tuba, in my opinion, it sounded like a fart. But 1962 was 1962, so whatever. And without that, for real, no Pink Floyd, no Led Zeppelin, no, nothing. But this is not an history lesson, it is a video for itself that I'm planning to do really soon. Practically, if you are not the only guitar player in your band, blending this sound with the previous cranks, it is a way to create a super big, massive guitar sound in live situation. By the way, I'm using an octafuzz. It is a type, there are many types of fuzzes. I like this one because it is brutal and weird sounding, okay? And another way to use it is if you wanna have another flavor in your sound, think of it as an alternative distortion, even though fuzz and distortion are two separate things, okay? guitar players, what we want to do is playing solo all day. Let's be honest. And I know in today's music it's rare to even hear guitar parts. But if you play classic, pop, rock, this sound will get you covered for 95% of the lead sound that you will ever add. Super simply, take the previous crunch, boost it with an overdrive in front, add a little bit of delay for ambience, and really that's it. But if you want to do it with a fuzz, place the overdrive after the fuzz. That will round up the harsh top end that most fuzz tend to have, okay? If you want to get the pop vibes right, take the first lead sound that I show you and add a chorus in front and try to use some digital reverb, okay? To sound a little bit less rock and roll-ish. I don't know if it's a word, I'm Italian, I don't know. And now the big secret. I was not only using the same type of amp, the Marshall Plexi emulation, I was using this exact setting, everything on full. And you might think, how are you able to get all this sound? There's an hint right at the beginning of the video. You can start from a gainish sound like this and slowly turning down the volume on the guitar until it is clean. By using the guitar volume or a volume pedal before hitting the amp, you are going to change the construction and reducing the distortion. So to make it easier, less input, less volume means less distortion, okay? And that proves a point that I want to share with you, but don't be offended, don't take my word for granted. I am no one. We, guitar player, don't need all this type of modular guitar processor like Headrush, Line 6, now there's the Quad Cortex from Nero DSP for a live purpose, okay? I'm talking about the working class musician like myself, so wedding gigs, little fairs, little theater, cover band, triple band. I'm not talking about playing with Pink Floyd or playing with U2, okay? For a studio and a practice situation, it is the best thing that ever happened in music since the birth of fuzz. Because in the studio you can really experiment with things and find your tone. And then you can, your sound, and then you can chase it in the real world if you want. And if you are working with someone else, you are a producer, a session player, you can really find the perfect sound for the song, which is the first thing that we musicians should care about. And then if you are a beginner guitar player, practicing through something that sounds and feels like this, it is a blessing. You be willing to practice and play more because it sounds good, it feels good, and then you are able to understand how sound works because you are dealing with something that behaves, feels, and works like almost a guitar amp nowadays. Back in the day when I started as a when I started studying guitar, so 17 years ago, yeah, 17 years ago, it was impossible to practice through headphones, almost, and digital modular was super expensive and not so good sounding. The cheaper one sound as bad as they look. Zoom G1 and the Line 6 POG, really they sound how they looked. Okay, not the best one. And now a simple question for the live players. When it was the last time that you really needed 5, 6, 7 different amps to perform, otherwise you won't be able to do it? Okay, it is super portable, super practical, but in reality nowadays with amps that are blending with the digital world of ER, you can go as practical as you like for half of the money of the XFX3, sorry, I'm Italian, or even the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. You can really choose an amp, a low box like the Torpedo that I have here in my studio, and you are good to go. A bunch of pedals, sorry, and you are good to go. I hope that this video is useful to you if you are a beginner guitar player or if you are just starting out as a professional musician. I know it's tough, but keep going. Don't be afraid to sound and feel like shit for many years. My name is Gianluca, I'm a guitar player, singer and songwriter from Italy, and every week I explore sounds and boundaries of music here on YouTube. So if you like this kind of shit, subscribe to my channel, you have no excuse. Consider to follow all the links to my social media, especially if you want, because times are tough for everybody, the tip link where you can donate $1 to $1 million. But if you cannot, I know times are tough for everybody, that's why I put the link for the donation. And until next time, you're lucky, my man.